Hello everyone, so in today's video we are going to go through Flux, and this is on our series that we are doing on the image generating softwares and just kind of going through the different styles that they have. So we have like one of the most used styles that we have right now that people are using is realistic photos, anime, comic book style, 3D renders, digital art, cartoon animals. So vintage is like the 1970s kind of look, minimalistic design, fantasy art, surrealism, and written text. So we have 7 image generating softwares. So like we have Midjourney, Flux, Ideogram, Google Test Kitchen, Adobe Playground, Leonardo AI, and Microsoft Designer. These are the ones that I'm going to go through. There's a lot of them. So I'm just going to go through the ones that are mostly free and the ones that more people can use, that they give you like 20 to 30 pictures in a day. So these are the categories that I'm going to be using. Each category is going to have 3 prompts. So the prompts are just going to be used throughout the entire series. So for every image generating software is going to have the same number of prompts and the same prompts exactly. And then we are going to start. So like on the first thing that we started with is going to be realistic photos, and this is just photos that we want to look realistic. And like when it comes to the first one, which is a sunlit forest path with dappled light, it did a good job, not as good as all wanted it to be. It does look a bit more realistic compared to what we got with Microsoft Design, but I still think that it has some place to go. It looks good though, the lighting, the shadows, it looks really good. For the second image, where it's supposed to be a portrait of an elderly person, I think it lacks with the realism per se. It still looks a bit plastic, but very good job, especially with the wrinkles. I still think it has a long way to go. And then the other one is going to be a bustling city street at night with like neon signs and slickered pavement, which did a very good job. I still think it has a very long place to go as well, but it is way better compared to what we got with Microsoft Design. So far we have seen that it's really good when it comes to realistic kind of designs. So the other category that we have is comic book style, and this is just basically if you're trying to come up with your own comic book, if you're trying to write your own story, can you come up with your own images? And when it comes to comic book style, I think it does a very good job. There's a lot that you can get from it. As you can see, like in the first image, it does look very comic-y, it looks very cartoony, but in a very comic book kind of way. The second image did a very good job, just like missed a leg there, probably it's behind him. So again, still good. I honestly can use this. I can use this, especially if you just know the right prompts. And then the other one is the minions. Again, the villain layer, very good. It still took minions from Despicable Me, but I was going for like their own kind of minions. But yeah, comic book wise, I think it has done a very good job. So the other one is digital art, and digital art is going to continue growing, especially with the rise of AI art. And for this one, I think there's some aspects to it that are very good. Like for example, with the digital art of a cyberpunk city, the flying cars, yes, it does look really good. Does look kind of like rendered in 3D as well, very gamey-ish kind of way, but it's really a very good image. For the second image, where it's supposed to combine different animals into one, it has done a very good job, but I think the combining aspect of it was not as well thought out in terms of, like for example, here we have like a hand and there's another hand here as well, there's another one here and here. So it has combined them, but not in a way that they will look very artistic. So where I think it shone is when it went to like emotions, using the last image, which is a digital art of an abstract representation of emotions using bold shapes and colors. I like this image better than what we got with Microsoft Design. I think this image is better in almost every aspect. The other one was like a vintage retro aesthetics, and this one has done a very good job with it, especially when it comes to like the 2 last images. So for the first image, which was supposed to be a 1950s dinner scene, the image was good. It wasn't really as realistic as I would like it to be, so I won't really give it as many points there. And it comes to the second image, and it comes to the poster for the 1960s concert, way better image compared to what we got to Microsoft Design. It's just, when it comes to posters, I feel like the Flux has like a better handle of that. because even the last image, which is supposed to be a vintage image of an art deco inspired travel poster, that looks way better than what we got with Microsoft Design. So I definitely will give it to Flux. When it comes to posters, I think it can give a lot of the image generating softwares a run for their money. So the other category that we had was fantasy art, and this is for anyone who's trying to come up with art of like a book that they're writing, a book that they're reading, and you want to come up with your own fantasy world. So the first image was an image of a dragon on top of a crystal mountain. So the mountain is not crystal per se, but it is molten lava, which is okay, kind of okay. But the dragon is beautiful. It's looks way more realistic, right, compared to what we got in Microsoft Design. Let me just zoom in there. Yeah, that looks way more realistic compared to what we got with Microsoft Design. And then when it comes to the second image, which was a fantasy image of an enchanted forest with glowing mushrooms and fairy tale creatures, again, a very good job. Not as good as I would like it to be, but it's good. It's good. You can see they're shining, they're like glowing and everything. I still think it would have done better. So the other one is fantasy wizards fighting. This one, good job still, but not as good as I'd like it to be. I feel like there's a lot of detail that was missed here. It looks like this is his hand and this is his hand, and they don't necessarily look like they're fighting. Well, they look like they're fighting, but not like really realistically. But it is a fantasy. So yeah, so that's for that. The other image that we have is anime. So when it comes to anime, I think it still lacks when it comes to performance. Like the first image does not really look as anime as much as it looks Disney. So I won't give it to that. I feel like it has failed that. It tried to combine anime and Disney kind of characters, which was good, but not as good as it could have been. The second image is an intense shonen battle, which was good, but I feel like it definitely lacked when it comes to just overall character building, in the sense that here we do not have his body and his as well. It's kind of like lost in translation there. So not as good as we got with Microsoft Design. When it comes to a slice of scene, this is like the high school K-drama scene. Did not do as good of a job. I had to run the prompt like 3 times. It kept giving me real life people, so I had to like input anime in there to just for it to give me this, and it still wasn't what necessarily I wanted. They're not necessarily on a rooftop. So anime Microsoft Design is better than Flux so far. So the next image was 3D rendering. So this is coming up with images that can be used, for example, in games, or it can be used with models that an architect is trying to come up with. So for the first image was a 3D render of a futuristic spacecraft interior with holographic displays and slick design. The holographic displays are not there per se, but the slick design is there, and it does look like a 3D render kind of thing. So it's not that bad. For the second image, it was a 3D render of a photorealistic bowl of fruit, which they do look realistic. There are various textures, the colors, the way the sun is hitting it is different. The bowl of fruit is transparent, so you can see the change in color. They look different compared to the ones that are inside the fruit and the ones that are outside it. So that is a weirdly very artistic way that it looked at that prompt. The other image was a skyscraper that's kind of like eco-friendly. Did a very good job with that as well. I think it could have done better, but yeah, you tell me. The other image that we have is of cartoon animals. So the first image is the cartoon animals having tea at a party, and yeah, well, 2 of them don't have cups, so this is definitely going to take more iterations to come up with the kind of like exact design that you want. The second image is where we have our fox trying to outsmart a grumpy bear. Way better compared to what we got last time, and better than the other 2 images as well. I think this one has done a better job, but still doesn't really hold that narrative. They just look like talking, like they're a fox and a bear talking, and they're like the same size, so which makes sense, they're cartoons. And the last one was a cartoon image of animals putting on a musical performance, which It's a different type of cartoon. It's more stock art cartoon, kind of stock picture cartoon, but still, it looks good. It looks good. The other place when it comes to the minimalistic design, this one I think Microsoft Design did a way better job at it. So for the first image in the series, we have a simple logo design using negative space, which is kind of there. It has used two images though. Sorry, two colors. I only wanted one color. I see this color and this color and this. So those are like three colors, give or take. I don't like this. I don't think this can be a logo per se. Maybe it's just my prompt, but so far when it comes to the minimalist design, it did not really. There's no prompt that I feel satisfied when it comes to the image that I got. For the second image, it was a clean and modern product packaging with minimal text, which again still good, but I feel like it could have been done better. And for the last image, sorry, for the second image, it could not have been done better. For the second image, it does not even show a product. It just shows, I don't know what that is. It's like an iPad with text. That is it. It did not really suit for me. The last image that we had was an infographic showing basic shapes and limited color palette. Well, it has shown like some basic shapes, but it is more text than it is shapes and text. So when it comes to infographics, I think Microsoft Design did a better job than this one at that. The second last category that we have is Surrealism, and this is a form of art. And in the first one, it's supposed to be a melting clock draped over a tree branch in a barren landscape. So yes, there is a melting clock, but it kind of melting clock, but the clock itself is not melting. So I will not really give it to Surrealism here in this particular prompt. Microsoft Design did a better job at it than this one. When it comes to the second image, it's supposed to be a person with a cloud for a head raining over a field of flowers. It's good, but it could have been done better. The cloud is on top of the person's head and it is raining and there's like a field of flowers, but it's not the head itself. So this one is Flux looks like it geared more towards realistic pictures than anything else. The last image in Surrealism was a staircase leading to multiple impossible doorways in the sky. So it has shown multiple, but only two. Not really that many. And there is definitely a stairway, and it is in the sky, but it's not really what I was going for. So when it comes to art, I will definitely not lean on Flux for that. Flux, I don't think gives very good artistic images compared to the other imaging generating softwares that we have. So the last one, the one that most people really care for when it comes to image generating softwares, is going to be written text, and this is to see whether or not they can handle text. When it started, they really could not spell very well, but now they're getting better. For the first image in the series, there we had a handwritten note. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Has to be one of the most famous sentences in English, and did that very well. It does look handwritten, very good spelling, very good design. I like it. I like that one. For the second one, it's supposed to be a chalkboard with that phrase. I'm not going to spell it, but it has gotten what I wanted, but the spelling was not very good. So like for the first word super, it has gotten that, but Kali, it did not get Kali. It did not Kali. Kali is gone, and it just started with frag. And then for the last image, it's supposed to be a street sign displaying one-way street to that, which is like one of the longest places in the world. It did not really do a very good job with that as well. I think it could have done better, especially with the first few letters. We just got like the second letter wrong, missed the L there. So when it comes to written text, if the phrase is very famous, if it's like a very famous phrase, like the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, if it's probably like a proverb, there's a very high chance you will get like a well-written form of it. But if it's like a different word that it's not very familiar with, you might not really get it, especially if it's like very long. Yeah, so that's the image generating softwares with Flux. For anyone who does not know how to use Flux, Okay, so for anyone who wants to know how to access Flux, what you're going to do is you're going to go to huggingface.spaces and click on that, or .co. Just go to huggingface.co, look for that, and then you're going, let me just do that for you so that you get an idea of what it will look like. So when you go to Hugging Space, this is what it's going to look like. There's a video on Hugging Space that I'm going to do. So we are going to come to, so we have models, datasets, spaces, post. So we're just going to come here. You can click on models as well. That's one way of looking for it. And another way, this model is when you can get the model and then download it on your computer. I'm just going to go to spaces. Spaces allows us to use that model of AI within our browser. So I'll come here and then under space, I'm going to search for Flux. And it should be this one, Black Forest Labs. So it's by Black Forest Labs. Click on that. Once you click on it, it's going to bring you to a place where you can input your prompt. When it comes to Flux, one of the disadvantages, I will say, is the fact that you can only produce one image per prompt. So this is where you're going to enter your prompt, and then just click on run, and then it's going to produce the image, and then you can download it. So let me show you as an example. So you just input your prompt and then click on run. Okay, and there you are. So you can download it here. Click on download, and then it can now go to your downloads. You can get it from there. So that, okay, so that brings us the end of this video. I hope you've got an idea on how Flux work, how you can access it, and the kind of images that you can produce, and the kind of styles that you can produce really well, and the ones that it does not really have a good handle on. So join me tomorrow as we go through yet another Microsoft Designer. I've already gone through that. So join me tomorrow as we go through another image generating software. It's going to be Google's Test Kitchen, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.